Alright, so there's a product absolutely dominating it on TikTok Shop right now. It's blowing up feeds, racking up millions in sales, and completely rewriting the playbook on how to launch and scale on TikTok Shop. In this video, I'm going to be breaking down exactly why it went viral, the clever strategies that they used to rank #1 on TikTok Shop, and how you can model the exact same approach to be able to scale your own TikTok Shop. So stick around, because by the end, you'll see how this brand turns simple short videos into a multi-million-dollar cash machine. So let's get into it. So the brand we're going to be going over is Kind Patches, and it is a weight management patch that you put on your arm. It's a fairly simple idea, and it's supposed to help with weight loss. And this is the website that they have, and they recently launched on TikTok Shop and have absolutely exploded. And as you can see, they're ranking #1 on TikTok Shop, and their order growth rate is going insane right now. One of the fastest growing TikTok shops out there in the last 30 to 90 days. And they've sold about 95,000 units, which is absolutely insane. And what you'll also notice is commission rates are pretty standard across the board for some of the top people. It's usually around 20 to 25%. That's how you're going to attract the best creators. But what we're going to pay attention to is the GMB that they've generated and how fast they're growing. So let's go ahead and look at Kind Patches. And they're #1, as you can see, and in the beauty and personal care space in the last 7 days. They have a 100% popularity score, which is essentially based off how many people are posting, how many views they're generating, how many sales that they're getting. And to understand how you can start to explode on TikTok Shop, it really comes down to how many affiliates you can get that are quality, not just affiliates in general, but actual quality affiliates. And I'm going to break down what you need to look for before you start approving affiliates, because anybody can invite an affiliate or get a sample request and approve it, but not any affiliate can generate quality views that result in sales and also the right people who actually fit in with the brand. That is very important and where a lot of people go wrong, and we're going to be going over exactly how that works. But the first thing I want you to pay attention to understand the growth rate here is they did about 2.3 million on this one product. They're focusing on their bestseller because they know it works. A lot of times brands will choose multiple products, send out invites, and hope that people will promote different product lines and find out which one converts. What you really need to do is focus on your bestseller from the beginning. If you have an Amazon store or a Shopify store, if you already have the data and know it works, that should be the product that you focus on. And if you have multiple variants of a product, choose the best variant, so that way you can dedicate a singular focus on what is working. Once you've done that step, as we can see here, this brand in their GMB in the last 90 days has done 2.3 million. They have roughly 2.7 thousand affiliates for this one product. That might seem like a lot, but there's a lot of brands that have 15, 20,000 affiliates, and some people only have a few hundred. So you can really make this work, but you got to start scaling up your affiliates. Now, what you'll notice here is they're starting to generate, 4,000 in GMB in a day. They have a couple videos going viral, but the moment that they ramp up from 10 affiliates, 3 affiliates a day to going to 15, 44, 59, they're adding in tons of affiliates, their GMB is rapidly rising because they're attracting the right types of content creators. And as their GMB continues to climb, they're getting more and more affiliates. GMB continues to go up with that. And the reason for this is because they're onboarding tons of affiliates, therefore their sales are going up. And as we go down here, we can start to see some of these videos that are working for them. We had one affiliate generate $100,000 in the last 28 days from one video. Yes, you heard that correctly. One person generated $100,000 in sales for this brand. This video did 27 million views, which is absolutely insane. And it's only a few seconds long. Most of these are very short videos. So let's go ahead and check this video out. Okay, so this video is using a very controversial topic. POV, your insurance doesn't cover Zempic, which they're meaning Ozempic, but you realize this patch exists. So that's a very good hook, because a lot of people have been seeing those viral trends of people losing a ton of weight, being on a specific drug, and a lot of people can't get access to that, or they've been fantasizing about the idea of getting on it, or just naturally interested in losing weight in a very specific way. And now this person has made a video with this patch, which is an automatic scroll stopper, because now people are wondering exactly what this product is. And most people who are wanting to lose weight are very interested in testing different things so that way they can lose it. And so therefore this video is only 4 seconds long, but generated a ton of views and a ton of sales, believe it or not. Now, this video is being leveraged in an ad. So what they're doing is, once they get their top performing affiliates, you always move those videos into GMB Max campaigns. Essentially what a GMB Max campaign is where you put paid advertising dollars behind the video once it's proven to work. So let's say that this creator generated 20,000 in sales. Well, as soon as you notice that a creator is doing really well in sales for you, you want to take that video, rotate it into GMB Max campaigns, and spend $100 to $300 daily at a 2, 3, 4x ROAS, so that way you can scale this up and generate more sales behind it, because it extends the life of the video. Because naturally these videos will die out over time organically, so you want to put paid dollars behind them to amplify the views, amplify the sales, because we know it works and we can captivate a larger audience, therefore generating more views and more growth for our business. Next up, we have another video which is about 7 seconds long, and we'll see what this video says. So another 7-second video, very short, lots of views, lots of likes, and it says day 3 update, 12 hours, no snackings or cravings, water intake doubled, no breakfast, small lunch, feeling great. So this person is highlighting the fact that, they're less hungry, they're not eating as much food, and they're drinking a lot more water because of this patch. And this is their day 3 update, which is a pretty short time frame, which once again is kind of controversial in the fact that people are going to be wondering how this can be activating so quickly. And these are basically the benefits and that a lot of people who are losing weight want to know about. So that video ended up working. And once again, you'll notice that they took this video and put it into a GMB Max campaign. Let's continue down the line. So y'all in a month with no waste. This person is showing the patch. Nothing too crazy here, just lots of people commenting and wondering exactly what is going on with this patch. So it's very captivating. Let's go ahead and watch one that does not have an ad behind it.
I was a Daisy Fresh girl, and look what you've done to me.
Okay, so 11 seconds. This person says showing off my recent progress, but accidentally showing the secret ingredient, which is the patch once again. Kind of notice a theme here. Everybody's kind of alluding to something, and it's provoking curiosity from the viewership, which is just driving up the growth of the views. And people might even do a double take if they miss it, which is going to increase the view volume because it's kind of a loop feedback. Now, you might be saying, okay, these are super simple videos. Anybody could make videos like this. Yes, but these are curated in a way with a hook that drives curiosity, a little bit of controversial, and the overall desire, which is very important. Now you might be wondering, okay, how do I find affiliates who can make super short videos that go super viral? The name of the game isn't they magically picked up these 5 affiliates and they generated all these sales. No, we were just discussing this. 2.7 thousand affiliates, and keep in mind about 5 of their top videos have accumulated nearly 400,000 in sales here. So 400K came from about 5 videos, which is very typical. You'll notice 5 to 15 of your best performing affiliates are going to drive a majority of the sales. So what happens with the other, 2,690 affiliates that we ended up sending our product to and onboarding? Well, those affiliates are going to be generating sales, but if we go down the line here and look at, some of their videos, you'll notice that very quickly the views and the sales start dropping off and we get down into the thousands, which is good. I mean, even on page 19, they're still generating sales, but as we continue to go further back, we'll notice that most people are around the $400 mark, which is still nice, but not as many views, not as many sales. And all of these videos are being pushed in ads with GMB Max because that is the strategy that is working right now. All right, so when you're looking at affiliates, how do you get this many affiliates? Most people are sending out invites and are like, I'm only sending 50 a day. That is not the right strategy. You want to be able to send, if you're a brand new TikTok shop, you want to leverage a bot, which I'm going to drop the link below this video to. And that bot is going to allow you to send out thousands of invites a week. In fact, you're gonna be able to send out 2,500 invites a week until you hit 20K in GMV, and then you can send out thousands of invites every single day to ramp up how many affiliates you're inviting into your program. This is one of the key aspects. You wanna leverage an AI tool to be able to automate this process. And I have a setup video below that you can watch and implement this. But what we'll notice is Kind Patches is leveraging a tool. They're sending out all these invites and we can see how much revenue they're generating by each creator, which is a lot of money for some of these affiliates. And then we can see some of their top hooks for what's working. We could even copy these and send these to some of our affiliates ourselves. And one of the things that is very important is I'm gonna go ahead and estimate exactly roughly how many invites they probably had to send to get this amount of affiliates. And they probably sent out about 100,000 invites and had about 20,000 people reach out for sample requests. Now, this is an important part because when you have this many sample requests, you don't want to approve anybody and just everybody. You want to have a filtration process where you narrow down the best affiliates so that way you increase your likelihood of finding quality creators that are going to generate sales. Because when you're on TikTok Shop, it's very important that once you start generating 10, 15, 20,000, you really ramp up with the best creators possible so you can flood the feeds. And by doing this with this AI tool, you can get all these sample requests And then you want to make sure that you vet each affiliate independently to make sure that they qualify. So that way, whenever we have a spike in affiliates, as you can see here, our GMB explodes because we chose the right people. I've seen so many times people send out 300 products and only get a few sales because they just chose anybody and everybody. So what does that affiliate approval process look like? Well, once you're in the approval process, whenever we click on a creator inside of our TikTok shop, one of the things that we want to pay attention to is whenever we're looking at a creator to accept, we want to see how much GMB they've generated. Well, this creator's generated nearly 500K in the last 30 days. That's pretty impressive. They have roughly 90 brand collaborations, so that means that they're posting one brand collab just about every 3 days. Ideally, we want that number to be much lower because that could indicate that they just got lucky and had a very viral video off of one product. So we're kind of shooting in the dark with a creator like that. But their GPM is roughly $15. And if we're selling our product for 15 bucks, well, that means we can probably get at least one sell as long as they generate 8,000 views, which is a pretty important metric. And so they average on shoppable videos about 3,000 views. So if we go ahead and estimate this, well, if we were to send this creator our product and they've generated 3,000 views, that means that we're roughly going to get about 3 sales from that creator if they just post our video, which isn't too bad. So we ship out the product for 15, we get 3 sales. But really what we want to look for is creators who have a really good GPM, really low brand collab count, because that means they're more in tune with their community and audience, and a higher view volume, so that way we can go ahead and do the math to see how many sales we generate. Therefore, we're filtering down to the best affiliates and only approving people who are actually quality, so that way we can get the most affiliates at the highest level possible to generate the best results for us. We're not wasting product. We're generating views that are based off math that result in sales. We have a formula that predicts whether or not we're going to get those purchases, and so therefore we approve those people individually. We're focusing on a bestseller. So basically we're stacking all of the odds in our favor on TikTok Shop. And this is kind of the new wave of sales right now compared to Amazon and Shopify. TikTok Shop can be very explosive. So when we go back and look at some of these metrics, as we ramp up our affiliates and approve the right people, all of a sudden our GMB starts to literally take off daily and start doing 100K days, which is absolutely incredible. And what we'll notice is most of this is accounted through video and product card. Product card is essentially like, if somebody searches your product through TikTok Shop or clicks on a product card or the Explore page, that's GMB. A lot of that can be GMB. Video can also include GMB, but most of this is organic viral content that is generating sales. And then there's a small portion. Live usually makes up 10 to 20%. Live is good to have a consistent layer of sales, but it usually isn't the overall biggest producer. It really comes down to how many affiliates we're approving. So the biggest takeaway is you want to approve the proper affiliates based off a very specific criteria, so you only get the right creators involved. And then you want to take your best creators, move them into GMB Max campaigns so that way you can scale up. And not only that, but once you pass 20K in GMB, you really want to throttle up how many affiliates you're accepting every day, so that way you can flood the feeds with content and get lots of sales. And that is what is allowing this brand to absolutely explode. It's a relatively simple formula, but most people get it wrong because they're not following a specific step-by-step guide on how to do it. And if you want to understand that in full, I have an actual full breakdown video of how we leverage the rush method, where you're able to scale up across all sectors of your business, whether it's Facebook ads, TikTok Shop, and Shopify. Then you definitely want to check out that system, so that way you can understand the full breakdown of how to leverage all these together to explode your sales online. Once again, it's your favorite digital marketer here, Chase Chappell. Cheers and bye all.